Thank you. Hey, before I get started, I love the fact that it's right? Intimate. It's all about intimacy with our customers. So I want to get a little more intimate with this group, and I want to get to know you a little better. So I want to ask you a couple of questions. So first, how many of you have upgraded your smartphone in the last 9 months? All right, that's a huge amount, huge amount. All right, I will not ask you and embarrass you how many of you have already used your smartphone, even in the short amount of time that I've talked here today, because there's probably a large percent, and will happen. I'm not naive. All right, let's go to gaming then. So how many of you would consider yourself gamers? Before you put up your hand, gaming is very broad. It's not just guys shooting on a PS4 and Xbox One. It's on your phone. It's on devices on your tablet that you play. Sometimes it's on your TV. So how many of you would admit, go ahead and admit it because it's not a bad thing, how many of you are gamers? All right, quite a few here. And for the bonus question, who knows who Nathan Drake is? So, where are the students? Surely they know. Who, come on, the character in Uncharted 4 and all the Uncharted series is fantastic. So it's good to know that there's a crowd that is tech savvy. Many of you are gamers. And we're excited today to talk about the GameStop story. It's a story of change. It's a story of risk-taking. It's a story of transformation. You guys may know us as that GameStop that's in the strip center down the street from you, but we're so much more than that. Today, we are a global family of specialty retailers. Now, we started in the 1980s as an educational software provider, and we have a rich history of change and transformation. And this current generation of customers and associates allows us to once again transform. You know, we've basically grown up with this new generation. Some people would say we may have created this new generation of customer and associates. So while we're definitely going to talk about the transformation of GameStop, we're really going to focus in on this new generation of customers and associates. Notice I don't call them millennials because they don't like to be called millennials. So I'm just going to call them the new generation. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to put out a leadership model at the end about how we deal with them as associates in a positive way. And I think they're an incredible force. They are our future. They're your future. We've seen them from the beginning. We know a lot about them. And here's one thing that we know about them. They have huge standards, service standards, and they're constantly increasing. And we love that because we know at GameStop, what we must do each and every day is raise our game and create that differentiated level of service and make sure that we keep that customer coming back. And that starts with our vision. Our vision is to become a family of specialty retailers that makes your favorite technology affordable and simple. So let's talk about that. First, we're a family. That means we support each other. We work together. We compete together. When someone attacks us from the outside, we compete hard. And we constantly are innovative to make sure that we're relevant. We're specialty retailers, like I'm sure many of you are. That means that we have a special relationship with our customer. We know what they like. We get to know them. We provide talked-about service so that they go out and evangelize on our behalf. That's the lifeblood of the company. Because we know our customers, we know what their favorite technology is. And we don't just know about their favorite technology. We're early adopters of their favorite technology because we're intellectually curious. So chances are when you walk into a GameStop, when you walk into an AT&T store that we own, when you walk into a Cricket store, Simply Mac, you're going to be able to talk with someone who's using that technology that you're thinking about buying. We make it affordable. Not only are we very reasonably priced in all situations, but we have a buy-sell trade model that literally allows you to name your price. What price do you want to pay for that game? What price do you want to pay for that phone? What do you have to trade in for it? What games are you not using? What phones are you not using? What tablets are sitting on your counter? Bring them in and reduce your price. And finally, we make it simple. Because we know the customer so well, because we understand their technology, we make this a very simple, hassle-free, high-service environment. And that's led to significant transformation. So you look at our evolution. We actually started as a video game company, and 75% of our profits last year came from video games. So we're going to continue to keep that strong foundation. Whether you have EB or Micromania or GameStop on the top of your store, and whether you're in any of the 14 countries we do business in, what's important is that we continue to evolve and keep this core part of our business very strong. We do it through leadership. We do it through service. and we do it through dominating the launches. It's interesting, I love Beck's conversation on VR, because when I hear VR, I hear billions. Because like he said, it's a gaming headset, and it's going to be used a lot in gaming, and every forecast that you see says it's going to be billions. Goldman Sachs has said it's going to be an $84 billion category by 2025. Don't know if it'll get that high, but the good news is we're dealing in a whole new category that hasn't launched yet, and you know when it launches, you know where people are going to come to get their gaming headset? It's going to be GameStop. We also have this great technology platform called PowerUp Rewards. What that does is allow us to provide that great differentiated service experience in an electronic environment. We have 46 million members globally, and we have the foremost document on gaming, our magazine called Game Informer, which is one of the largest paid digital magazines in the world. We have it in all the countries we do business in. Now, based on that foundation, we said, hey, we've got this digital migration taking place in our industry, so let's get involved in it. So we've gotten involved in digital mobile gaming. It's now a $1 billion category for us. We've added $1 billion here. We've added it with Steam cards. We've added it through PC downloads. We're selling downloadable games. We're selling downloadable content that goes along with the physical games that we sell, and we purchased this company called Congregate, which was a leading in-game purchases publisher on the PC side, which has now morphed its way over to a mobile developer and is now one of the top 10 mobile developers here in the US. So a very strong company that's gone through transformation on its own. And we just announced yesterday that we're now getting into indie publishing, which means now we're going to be publishing smaller games that don't really see the light of day, and we're going to put them up in our stores so that other people can see them and begin to purchase those games as well. It's a great business. It's the largest digital business out there. So we see our digital business continuing to grow as well. Now, we looked at these strong core businesses, and we said, you know, there's core competencies that we have here that we can apply to other segments. Things like real estate expertise, the ability to run small box. We have PowerUp Rewards. We have this buy-sell trade piece, and we have a lot of capital. So we're around $500 million a year of free cash flow. So what can we do with that? When we invested into the technology in the wireless segment, it's about a $270 billion market over there, so a huge market. We partner with two great partners in AT&T and Apple, and they have been absolutely phenomenal partners for us. Now, you'll know our Spring Mobile stores by their AT&T brand. They're AT&T branded stores. And those AT&T stores look like an AT&T store. They have the same products that you'll get in an AT&T store and the same service that you're going to get in an AT&T store. Similarly, our Simply Mac stores look like a small Apple store, and we go to places where Apple is not at. Again, those places are places that, those stores are small stores that have exactly the same products that Apple sells, exactly the same service that Apple sells, but we do it in a high service environment. And then Cricket, we're a top 5 Cricket provider as well, and Cricket is the prepaid mobile space for AT&T. So we have the largest and fastest growing AT&T dealer, the largest Apple reseller, and a top 5 Cricket dealer, clearly positioned very well. Now, 2 years ago, we purchased this company. They had about 100 stores. At the end of 2016, we'll have over 1,500 stores. This is going to be well on its way to being a $1 billion brand at the end of this year. So we're very excited about the transformation that's taking place here. And then we said, you know, with this PowerUp Rewards, everybody's asking for these new products and this thing called Loot. Things like Star Trek pizza cutters and Star Wars waffle maker and a BB-8 keychain. I mean, all this stuff, they were asking for this. We said, you know, there's a big opportunity there. And so we looked and we realized it's an $11 billion category in the US today, on its way to being a $19 billion category. So we moved into that. We put it in our stores. We went from doing $75 million to $300 million last year. We're on our way to doing $1 billion in this category as well by 2019. Then we went out and bought the largest brand in there. It's very fragmented, but the largest brand was ThinkGeek. Now, not only do we sell their products on their website, but we also sell them in all of our stores. So what you're seeing is not a company that's looking to go through transformation. What you're seeing is a company that is in transformation. It's successful transformation. We've added $2 billion businesses into our already strong physical gaming business, and we've added another $1 billion business outside of our stores. So there's a lot of growth, and there's a lot of growth ahead because those core competencies that I articulated, they'll work in a lot of different segments. So there's more M&A activity ahead. But what's the one thing, the thread that ties all this together? It's service, and it's differentiated service. And we know that if we do not have a differentiated service experience, none of this will work. And so that's the lifeblood of GameStop. So I'm going to run through very quickly some statistics about the general retail environment, which I found very strong, very robust, and very exciting. And then we're going to go in to talk about this new customer and these new associates. Americans still shop in stores 95% of the time, so they're out a lot. 65% of shoppers say that if they can get it online or they can go to a store, they're going to go to a store. E-commerce sales were an impressive $334 billion, but a fraction of the $2.9 trillion in brick and mortar sales. And that's slated to go to $5 trillion by 2020. The number of showrooms has actually decreased from 37% to 28%, while web rooming, people going online and then going into a store to buy, is 41% of the shoppers. The number of shoppers who made purchases in stores after researching products using one of those smartphones that many of you upgraded in the last few months surged to 41%. Now, $156 is the average basket size for showroomers. But when you look at web roomers, people who go online and then go to the store, it's actually 30% higher, $200.70. 85% of consumers say they like to shop in the store because they can touch and feel that product. No surprise, they get great service. 71% of shoppers say they're more likely to make a purchase when they've had a personalized experience. That's what we do in specialized retail. 45% of sales in a physical store are impulse compared to 25% online. And 90% of all U.S. retail sales occur at physical stores. And when an e-tailer comes and they open up a store, their sales in that same trade area goes up like 3 to 5 times. So they are even seeing the power of retail. Now what's interesting is you look at online sales and you project them out through 2020, they are going to grow at a fairly rapid clip. In fact, they're going to grow $236 billion. But then when you look at web-influenced offline sales, in other words, those sales where people have gone online and then they've gone into a brick-and-mortar store to buy those are actually going up double the amount of dollars at $464 billion. So very robust. What this means is omni-channel is incredibly important, but brick-and-mortar is an incredibly important part of omni-channel. So we're doing pretty good, us in the room, at 48% of web-enabled sales. At GameStop, we're doing even better. 60% of our sales are web-enabled. So how are we doing that? It starts with this great relationship with the customer. So let's talk about this evolving customer. Like I shared with you, we've basically grown up with them. We know a lot about them. You know, like generations before them, they want godlike powers. They want omniscience, omnipotent. They want to be able to morph the world to their liking, and they want to be able to share all their conquests. In gaming, they can compete together, they can win together, they can share together. It's a perfect match. They've had a lot of instability and been bombarded with information. So this group is more insightful, they're definitely more vocal, and they're more independent than any group that has come before them. Now, most of what I read about this group positions them as a problem that needs to be solved or a barrier that needs to be overcome, but I see them as so much more than that. I see this group as a huge standard bearer of service, and they are calling us to a higher level of service. And at GameStop, that excites us. And that's the way we look at them. Now, they are definitely an economic force to reckon with them, and if you're not dealing with them, they are the customer of the future, and they are the economic power of the future. But there's so much more. They're authentic, sometimes painfully so. They will tell you what they think, good or bad. And in fact, they'll take a 40% pay cut to go work for a company that they believe in. They value entertainment, and they want to be entertained. They are constantly entertained. When they come into our stores, they're not just looking for a shopping experience. They're looking to be engaged and entertained. They're very social. Everything gets shared. Sometimes the actual shopping experience and the fact that they went shopping is going to get shared more than the actual products that they purchase. They have strong identities and values, but they often aren't strongly articulated. So it's up to us as retailers to understand what they are and more for our stores to make sure that we're accommodating that. And they're ambitious, and they don't get a lot of credit for this, but they're very ambitious. In fact, they're more likely to do what they're asked than the 3 generations before them. Very ambitious group, and they have high standards. We've already talked about that, but super high standards, especially when it comes to service, and they're ever increasing. So here's the way we look at it. We don't look at them as a barrier to be overcome or a problem to be solved. Instead, we look at them as standard bearers. And we look at ourselves and we say, it's our job to raise our game to their standard. We don't have to change our business model because it works. We just need to make sure we're evolving it and doing it better and better and better every single day. So here's how we engage this generation. First, it's all about curation. Curation of product, creation of experience. Now, when they come to the store, they already have the information about the product. They've either been on their smartphone while they're driving or while they're walking or whenever they're getting there, but they know the information. So they're not there seeking information. They're seeking out expertise on that product. They're seeking engagement. They're expecting us to flex our model to meet their needs. It's not about just, here's the product, here's the information. It's about, hey, I've had experience with this product. Let me share that with you. A highly curated experience. It's a lot about co-creation. As customers, they want to be involved in the entire process. They want to help us select what products they want. They want to tell us how to merchandise. They want to say, hey, I like this about your store, I don't like this about the store. They want to be involved in the process. As associates, they want to have an avenue to tell us as the leaders of the company, hey, here are some things I wish you would change. And then when we make decisions, they want to make sure that their views are reflected in those decisions. I think that's a really fair ask. And they're all about community. All about community. They may be alone, but they're not lone wolves at all. They bring community to wherever they go. This was really driven home to me. I had the opportunity to sit behind the glass at a focus group with our associates, and there was a young lady talking about her experience in our store, and she was one of our store leaders. She said, you know, I love gaming, and I love to talk with people about gaming. I feel like everywhere else that I talk about it, nobody really wants to hear. But when I'm in my store, man, I get to talk with people about gaming. They're excited about it. I share my passion, and it's just fantastic. And then she stops, and we're all glued to what she's about to say. And she goes, you know, at GameStop, I am normal. It's cool, though, isn't it? Think about that. She created this environment in her store that she now shares with all the people who are also normal when they walk in. That's what it looks like in this generation. You literally morph your store. Morph your store so that your customer is normal. How cool is that? And remember, don't ever forget, it's all about authenticity. They will hold us to what we say we are going to do, and that's a good thing. If we make a brand promise, they're going to say, listen, you are not living up to your brand promise. If we say this is a great product and they know it's not a great product, we're going to hear about it. And that's a good thing. Now at GameStop, we have a saying, when things are successful, you look out the window and you say, man, they did a great job. When things aren't quite successful, you look in the mirror and you go, what could we have done better? So here's my challenge to all of you, students accepted, all the retailers in the room. Let's look in the mirror. And let's say, are we living up to the brand promises that we're making to this generation of associates, and this generation of customers? And if the answer to that is not 100% yes, then let's work hard. And let's see these folks as raising the standard, and that's a good thing. Now, we also engage them electronically in the cloud with our technology platform, PowerUp Rewards, over 46 million members globally. 1 in 5 households in America are PowerUp Reward members. Are you a representative? Who's a PowerUp Reward member? 1, 2. Okay, we got some work to do in this room. So a few more. You are way below the U.S. average in terms of membership. So we need to get you PowerUp Rewards. 1 in 5 households are members of our PowerUp Rewards program. Now here's what's interesting. 76% of our sales that happen weekly are tracked through our PowerUp Rewards technology. Given our market share, that means over 1/3 of the market, the video game market, that is sold each week. We know exactly who bought it. Think of the power that that gives us in the marketplace. That's why that's why we're market share leader in nearly every country that we do business in. And because we know these people, we have 600 million games in our library that we know exactly what they bought. We know exactly what they like. 600 million data points. So we can engage them, and the sales of members are 3 times higher than non-members. And because we engage them so effectively, they're engaged in our entire ecosystem, and our profit is actually 5 times higher. So where do we engage them? Well, it starts in the store. This is where the magic happens. I mean, walk into a GameStop store, an AT&T store, a Simply Mac store, and you are going to be met with some of the most passionate people on the planet. They want you to love gaming as much as they love gaming. They want you to be as excited about the next launch of the Apple iPhone as they are excited. That's their passion in life. This is where the magic happens. They take that event and they are the secret weapon. They literally create a specific event for that customer. It's differentiated every single time. This is where the magic begins. And then we take that into the cloud. We make sure that through our social media, through all of our websites, we make sure that people get that look and that feel, that differentiated experience that's taking place. 60% of the time, customers are going to go to both GameStop.com and a GameStop store. It's a very powerful opportunity. And we are the #1 seller of mobile devices outside of the actual carriers themselves through our Spring Mobile segment. So we sell a ton of mobile devices. We now call these the remote control of your life. Chances are many of you have checked them already throughout this presentation. You're not going to offend me because all of us do it. But that's what happens with these. In fact, nearly 2/3 of people access our websites from their mobile device. That's how powerful that is. So let me give you an example. The one biggest threat of our industry, perceived threat of our industry, is that all these games are going to go digital. And that's the #1 threat. And yet we have a $1 billion digital business. Why is that? Well, there are still great reasons why people come to brick and mortar retail. And let me tell you what we're competing against. We're competing against somebody who's got a controller in their hand, and all they have to do is hit X and download the game. That's what we're competing against. And they're still coming to the physical stores to buy this. Why is that? Well, gift givers love to give something other than a digital code. They get trade credits. They get PowerUp Rewards point. They have a great service experience, and they get to talk to people who are knowledgeable about that $50, $40, $30 investment that they're getting ready to make. So 95% of our digital sales, that $1 billion number, occurs in our brick and mortar stores. Part of the reason why is that because 60% of the time, it comes on a non-credit card transaction. That's part of our $1 billion of trade credits, so those trade credits are in there, cash is in there, gift cards are in there. These are legitimate reasons why people are still buying, even digital, that we're competing with a click of a button. They're still coming to brick and mortar to buy it. And those reasons are going to stay around for a long time. Now, it's really important that we have a strong omni-channel presence, and we do. In fact, 83% of the customers who visit our sites intend to come in and purchase at a store after their visit, so it's very strong. You can purchase a product online from any mobile device. You can choose to send that product to your home, or you can hold it in our stores. About 80% of our stores in the U.S. are within 5 miles of the U.S. population, so we're very convenient. So, I'm sorry, 80% of the population in the U.S. is within 5 miles of our stores. So we're very convenient. So you can hold it online and go up and pick it up in store. If you get to our stores and we don't have what you're looking for, or you want to send it to a different address, fine. Go through Web and Store, very simple. We'll send it somewhere else, or we'll send it to your home. And this year, we just launched Ship from Store. So what that means is we'll either send it to you from our warehouse or we'll send it to you from one of our 4,000 locations. It's done two things. One, it's doubled the amount of SKUs that we're able to access for our online customers. And two, think about it. Our stores are so close to you, it gets there quicker and it gets there cheaper. It's literally a win-win-win for the customers, for us, and for the shareholders. So we have a very effective omni-channel platform. Like I shared, 60% of our transactions involve both a GameStop.com visit and a store visit. And here's what's really cool. For people who come through that channel, those 60%, they're twice as likely to bring in trades, which is a huge part of our business. That means two things. One, they got a great deal because they didn't pay full price for the games. And two, we got a great deal because we now have their games, which fuels our very profitable buy-sell-trade program. So then we said, okay, that's a great omni-channel program. But let's take that into the stores, back into the stores. So now we've come full circle, and we're driving technology into our stores. We took 60 stores down in Austin, and we put the best technology that we could find in retail. We've been running this test for a little over a year, about 18 months now. The first thing that we did is we said, our associates are fantastic. But right now, their association with the customers is limited to the four walls. Let's take that away. Let's let those associates go out into social media and let's let them engage our customers wherever they are. Anytime there's a technology discussion taking place, we want our associates to be a part of it because they're so valuable. And they bring so much value to the conversation, but they also bring a GameStop hook to the conversation as well. Then we took this powerful Power Up Rewards data and we applied it to geofencing. And so when you're driving around Austin, Texas, and you've got our app, all of a sudden you're going to get a notification pushed to you. Hey, we've got a deal on this at this GameStop that you're close to. Why don't you come on by? Totally personalized for you because it's driven by your Power Up Rewards data. Then when you get into the store, we use beacon technology to make it even more personalized so that when you're standing in front of a wall, we're not going to pitch you something that's on the other wall. We're going to pitch you something that's directly in front of you. A highly customized experience driven by technology. And then we enable that through these innovation platforms. We now have selling tablets in all 4,000 of our GameStop stores. Actually, also in all 1,500 of our 1,000 of our technology brand stores as well. We have these selling tablets. In our GameStop stores, those selling tablets bring the Power Up Rewards information and they give it to this associate who's already passionate. So now he knows what you like. She knows how much trade credit you have. He knows what deals are out there for you. So we can literally personalize a store experience and morph it to the customer before, during, and after the actual transaction. So that's the customer side. Let me move over to the associate side. And I want to put out a new leadership paradigm that you probably haven't seen before, but I think it's very important, especially for this generation. I've already talked about how this generation is very authentic. They're also very passionate. If they believe in your brand, if they believe in your company, if they believe in your leadership, honestly, this group will be evangelists for you. They will go beyond your expectations. In fact, you can't even fathom how high they will go. And that's a unique characteristic of this new generation. They're fantastic in that regard. Conversely, if they don't trust your promise, if they don't believe in what you're talking about, that you're being authentic, if they don't believe in your leadership, no amount of cajoling, no amount of pressure, no amount of coaching is going to get them to perform at the levels that you would like to see them perform. So here's a new paradigm. GameStop is focused on getting people to belief. What does it take to get people to belief? Well, here's a key point. You can't take a person beyond what they believe. And as leaders in this room, you can't get a person to believe beyond what you believe. So we all have to look in the mirror and say, what do I really believe? And what is everything that I'm saying as a leader authentic? Does it resonate? Because when you get people to believe, you're going to have the best associates in the country. So what does this look like? Well, for years, I've pitched programs, many of us have, and we always have a whiff of them. What's in it for you? What's in it for me? For them. What's in it for them? What's in it for the customer? What's in it for the company? And that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a whole nother level. and that is to come up with co-created ideas. This generation is confident in their knowledge of the customer. Like I shared before, they're independent, they're vocal, they want to be a part of the solution. So when we allow them to be a part of the solution and we don't dole out the decisions from on high, but instead we listen to their feedback, we tell them when we send down a decision how we integrated their feedback, it's powerful and it gets them to believe. Passion. Amazing thing. We all have to have passion to be able to get our ideas through the organization, but passion is not enough with this new cohort. There has to be a strong and a strongly articulated purpose. That purpose can be, hey, you are going to do the best job you can to educate this customer on the great benefits so they get the best entertainment value. They're spending their money in our stores. Let's make sure they spend it as well as they can. Or it could be taking a group of associates from the stores and getting them involved in helping the community that they do business in. But it's creating that personal connection with that purpose. Driving growth is fantastic. It's a good thing. We all want to drive more growth. We have to drive more growth. But I will tell you through my career, what I've learned is that what actually sustains is the growth that you drive in people. When you change the lives of people and they grow, that's when you're really affecting true change. I have a quote on my wall. It's from a Scottish cleric. And he says, the best teacher is a teacher that sees a truth in you with which you've quietly struggled, and he gives it a voice and allows you to proclaim it with boldness. So whenever I speak in front of a group of people, I always say this: our greatest job and our hardest job as leaders is this. It is to realize that there is greatness that exists in the people that are in front of us. And our job is to pull that greatness out of them and allow them to proclaim that and to understand it. And then to push them down their path to greatness, not our path, because theirs is going to be different. But we need to push them down their path towards greatness. And you begin to do that, you will have true believers. We want advocates, right? We want brand advocates. We all talk about brand advocacy. We have an opportunity with this cohort to do even more because their passion, their authenticity, they will be evangelists. They will be unstoppable for your brand. They will tell their friends. They will tell their family. They will tell anybody who will listen on social media, hey, you got to come to GameStop because this company rocks. And that's a customer, or that's an associate who's going to drive customer retention for years to come. We've done a good job at GameStop. I'm proud of this. We've empowered our leaders. We have pushed decision-making to the customer level, to the person who deals directly with the customers. But there's a whole nother level that we have to reach here. As we go out and visit our stores, we run into people and they're talking about, hey, my customer left and went over here. Hey, my store looks really good. Hey, my inventory, my. You mentioned that as well at Tuesday morning. It's my. We love that ownership. So we're latching onto that and we're saying, you know what, you're no longer empowered leaders. You are pseudo-owners. We actually call them virtual owners. We're painting their names on the door saying, you are the owner of this store. Run it like it's your own. It drives belief. And finally, let's move from commitment to belief. I like to say that belief is what's left when commitment stops. Because commitment will go until it hits adversity, and then it'll stop. And what drives the activity after that point? It's what a person truly believes. Now, I will admit this is hard to measure. I can't stand up here and show you scores of our belief. In fact, if I did that, that would probably violate the whole principle. It comes from looking people in the eyes. It comes from talking to people. It comes from really listening to them and doing all these things that we've talked about. So let me share where this really became real to me. It happened about 18 years ago. I was a vice president at Yum Brands. I was promoting my first vice president. His name was also Tony. Now, I was doing this because I was committed to developing people, because I was told, hey, if you want to get ahead, you need to develop people. So I was committed to developing people. Not proud of the fact that that was my motivation, but I'm being honest with you. Tony comes into my office. I'll never forget. It's early in the morning. I'm so excited. My first vice president I've ever promoted. I'm excited for him, but I'm really excited for me. And I say, Tony, congratulations. I'm promoting you to vice president. And then something happened I totally didn't expect. Tony's a pretty big guy. Tony gets up out of his chair, gives him this big old bear hug, And thank you. And I steps back and he's got tears coming out of his eyes. And I go, man, I felt something at that point shift in me. Because at that point, developing people and leading people was no longer something I was committed to. But at that point, it became something I believed in entirely and have committed the rest of my career to developing and growing people. And every time I do it, it feels so much better than those promotions that I got. This is a really neat piece. So let me wrap this up. We're going through transformation, or we're probably, I don't know where we're at in the process, but we're way beyond the starting point. So let me share with you what we've learned. We have a saying, protect the family. You got to protect the family. Whether that means that you help people who have been ravaged by tornadoes or floods with our Gamer Fund, whether that means you treat your customer like family, whether that means you go buy a technology company so that you maintain relevancy. Every decision we make goes to the grid of, does this protect our family? We have a phrase that we talk about technology and chronology. We love technology. We're early adopters of technology, as you saw, but we also understand that while the promises of technology almost always come true, the time frames in which they're going to be delivered are almost always delayed, so it's very important that we invest at the right time. Now, we'll move quick. Once we find an idea that works, like the tablets, we rolled them out in probably 2 months to 4,000 stores after we realized that it was the right time to go. We have a saying that the internal rate of change must always exceed the external rate of change. Totally committed to that, and a lot of that has to do with technology. We have a phrase that we use called service matters. When you're competing against e-commerce, service matters. When you're competing against a click of a button, service matters. When you just want to continue to drive great customer engagement, service matters. Differentiating ourselves on service is what all of us try to do. Service matters, and it's something we think about every single day. And finally, as I shared with you, getting to belief is vitally important. Because when you get to belief, I guarantee you, those associates are true believers. They are going to exceed every one of your high expectations. And one other thing, don't forget the reason we joined retail, right? This is fun. This is fun. All you students back there, great job, great choice. You're going to have a blast. Going to have a blast. And when it all comes together, when you have that belief, when you're talking about protecting the family, when you're talking about service matters, when it all comes together, it looks like this. And hold on at the end for the cameo from our CEO.
This is my store.
Right.
These are my offers.
Here you are. Oh, thank you.
This is my guest.
This is my community.
This is my product.
Hey, I want to return this, but I don't have the receipt.
Oh man, don't even worry about it. I got you way past covered. This is my decision.
This is my team.
Looks like we got some really great opportunities on here. This is my P&L.
Do you have anything like it?
I haven't seen a collectible like that, but I can see what I can do. This is my idea.
Great idea. This is my field.
This is great. This is my opportunity. Sarah, let's get this into the stores.
This is my shipment.
This is my district.
This is cool. Awesome. This is my win.
Hey, thanks for coming in. This is my sale.
Yeah, so thanks for coming into GameStop today, and we look forward to seeing you Monday. We got that midnight launch coming out. Yeah, man, I'll see you then.
This is my GameStop.
Hold on.
This is my family.
Cool. That is my GameStop. And that is my GameStop for about 40,000 other associates globally. So, guys, let me tell you what I believe. Here's what I believe. I believe we're in an incredible industry. I believe that we literally have the opportunity each and every day to impact people. And when we get it right, I believe that we absolutely change lives. Thank you.